Welcome, everyone. Thank you to Oregon State University for hosting this month and Hand in Hand Productions for the outstanding audio-visual support. Has anyone checked out the food? Did you guys eat? Did you drink? Yeah, everybody's happy. Wonderful. Well, thank you to OSU Catering for providing the delicious bites and drinks. We appreciate it. I am hosting tonight's Pub Talk program thanks to MC sponsor OSU-Cascades. OSU-Cascades prepares tomorrow's innovators in 30-degree fields from engineering to biochemistry to outdoor products. Come learn how you can make a difference too. Visit osucascades.edu/transfer. And of course, thank you to our Pub Talk title sponsors for making Pub Talk a reality each month. We'd love to welcome them up to the stage to introduce themselves. Hopefully they're ready. First up, Julianne Horner from Providence Health Plan. There she is. You're on, Julianne. How you doing? I snuck up on you, but look, you were in the right spot.
Well, good evening. My name is Julianne, and I'm going to piggyback a little bit on what I said last month. Where do you want me to stand? Okay. Providence Health Plan is grateful and thankful to be able to have served this community and the state of Oregon for the last many years, over 40. We take it very personally that we have been able to take care of this state. And as we sunset our services in 2027, my hope for all of you is that you understand that health is the true wealth, that without your health, there is nothing else that truly matters. So all of those nuggets that I've given you over the years on how to take care of yourself and the loved ones, you will continue that so that you can keep serving yourself and the community. And with that, thank you and have a great night tonight.
Thank you, Julianne. Very well said. All right, next up, Emma James from Exemplar Wealth Advisors. Emma, come give us the good word.
All right. Hello, everyone. If you didn't catch that, this is Julianne's last night as a Pub Talk sponsor. So can we just all give her one more big round? Say we miss you. We're going to miss you. Yeah. My name is Emma James. I'm a financial advisor and partner at Exemplar Wealth Advisors, and we've been part of the Bend community for over 25 years. Our area of expertise is in helping business owners proactively plan for the sale of their businesses so that they ultimately can retire into the lifestyle of their dreams. Now, when I say proactive, I mean 2 or more years in advance. And the reason for that is that the business owners who plan proactively get the best results. Unfortunately, only about 6% of business owners actually do this ahead of time, which is a bummer because they leave a lot of value on the table. Now, if you are thinking, if you're a business owner and you support someone who's a business owner and you're going, oh man, I close in 90 to 120 days on my business and I haven't done any planning. Well, I have good news for you. You have 2 homework items. Number 1, identify your freedom number. That is the number that you're going to need to sell your business for so that you can live your dream lifestyle. Number 2, before you even accept a letter of interest, you absolutely need to consult someone to see what kind of tax planning you can do before you accept one. And there is time. Some of you are CPAs and you're nodding your head no, but we'll talk about that. Anyway, if you are interested in learning more, we are hosting some educational events throughout the summer. So even though we won't see you at Pub Talk till the fall when we resume, we'd love to stay in touch. You've got my contact information on the top of the screen. And with that, enjoy your summer months.
Thank you, Emma. Look forward to your summer programming. All right, next up, Mark Reinhardt from Best and Krieger. Mark, how you doing?
So good. So good to be here. I'm Mark Reinhardt. I am a corporate transactional lawyer at Best and Krieger and an OSU-Cascades alum. So, yeah, back in my day when Coke was a nickel, we were actually over at COCC in that little 2-story building. So I really did half my classes at COCC and half at OSU-Cascades. But yeah, got to come up under Professor Natalie Dollar and James Foster. Anyone here take any classes from James Foster or Natalie Dollar? No? Oh man. Okay. That was going to be my trivia question. You lost out on a gift card. But okay. Is there anyone in here who has graduated or is graduating from OSU-Cascades this year? Oh, I see someone way in the back. I'm going to come back to you. Okay, he gets the gift card. Let me reemphasize though what Emma said. Like Emma's with the planning side of things, on the legal side of things, so often people come to me and they already have a term sheet signed up. They don't understand the difference between an asset deal, an equity deal, an F reorg, which is a deal that looks like an equity deal but is taxed as an asset deal. And when you sign those things up before you understand what you're getting yourself into, those term sheets might not be fully binding, but they do set the stage for what the negotiations are going to look like for your transaction. So if you are considering or looking into selling your business or buying a business, please, like Emma said, talk to a planner and talk to a transactional lawyer who can at least help you think through all the structural considerations that go into how you sell the business or how you buy the business in the most tax efficient way possible. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. And Jordan Smith from CMIT Solutions could not be with us tonight, but we want to share that CMIT Solutions provides IT services and support here in Central Oregon. We miss you, Jordan, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one. All right, next up, Trevor Campbell from Kernet Stokes. Trevor, I am excited to hear from you.
Feel like that's some pressure. Hi, everyone. I'm Trevor Campbell from Kernet Stokes. I'm a partner and we are CPAs. I would mimic what my colleagues said in terms of doing advanced notice. A lot of times we get people that come and say, yeah, look what I did. We go, all right, great. We can work with that, but we can't really do anything, right? Why am I here? I'm here because you're here. And what I mean by that is we work with businesses. And I've grown up my whole life living in Oregon. I've lived all around the state. And I always looked at Central Oregon and was like, what a great place to live. What does anybody do there? Everybody's at the river all the time, right? But now you stand here, you look at this campus, you look at this room, what a vibrant business community we have. And our firm is here because we want to help those people that are here. We want to help you. We're going to hear from people tonight that have all kinds of vision for starting things. We want to help them continue in this community too, not just get started. So if you're a business owner and you are looking for help with tax advice or anything like that, reach out to us. We'd love to talk. And thanks.
Nailed it. You nailed it. All right. Let's give a hand to all of our title sponsors: Providence Health Plan, Exemplar Wealth Advisors, Best and Krieger, CMIT Solutions, and Exemplar Wealth Advisors and Kernet Stokes. These guys make this event happen every month, and we're just so grateful. So now we get an update on economic development efforts from Redmond Economic Development Director, Steve Curley. Steve, what is the good word in Redmond?
Shannon, there's lots of good things happening in Redmond. Welcome, everyone. Good to be here tonight. How many people here are familiar with the Governor's Prosperity Council and the report that came out today? Okay. A few hands out there. How many of you have read all 452 pages of that report? I don't see any hands. There is a 7-page summary, which is a lot easier to read. So I was able to read that this afternoon. And very interesting. There'll obviously be a lot more to come, but I wanted to let you know that EDCO will be writing an article responding to the Prosperity Council recommendations the next week or so. So you can look for that in your inbox as we travel forward and see where it's going to take us and where the governor acts on that. So it should be very interesting. So to Redmond specifically, how many people here have attended a maiden tour for EDCO in any community? Okay. A lot of opportunity here because there's a lot of you that haven't. So we have maiden tours in Bend, We just had one last week in Jefferson County in Madras, and we had one a few weeks ago in Redmond. And I thought I might highlight a few of the companies that we had on the tour that we go do behind the scenes that you can all sign up and participate in next year. We had a company called Springer Precision. They make components for competitive shooting for handguns. They have a nice little business going there. A company called Bend Teardrop, and they make teardrop trailers. And guess where they started? Yeah. But they came to Redmond. They're not changing their name, though. Tried. Anyway, how many folks here are familiar with Hayden Homes? Yeah. They build a lot of housing for low to moderate income folks, as well as custom homes. They have a new support center that's right across from the airport that I'm sure you've seen if you've flown anywhere. They're in 4 or 5 states, but they're headquartered right here in Redmond, Oregon. And then we have a really cool company called Fuel Safe Systems, and they make rubberized fuel bladders that are used in racing, like race cars, but they've also gotten into Department of Defense applications. And a really cool story is, there's some activity going on in the Middle East, and a few weeks ago, there were a couple Apache helicopters that got shot down. Anybody remember that? And they sent out a couple Marine drones, boat drones, to rescue those guys. And they were successful in their rescue. And those boat drones had fuel bladders carrying fuel that were made in Redmond, Oregon. Pretty cool. So the products that are made not only in Redmond, but all over Central Oregon reach all over the world. So a couple of projects that are finishing that some people are pretty excited about. Who's heard of Amazon? So they're going to do a ribbon cutting next month, but has anyone here received a package overnight or almost overnight and looked at the tracking and seen that it has come through the Redmond facility? Anybody? There's one here, one there. Yeah, they are doing a soft opening. So they're starting to get things online. They didn't want to open right in the middle of a Prime Month activity, so probably a good call. So they're going to be opening next month. They'll have a ribbon cutting here in July, so you can be looking for that. Baselite, a concrete manufacturer, just opened up their 6,000 square foot showroom right a couple blocks from where Amazon is. Pultex, a medical plastics manufacturer, they're just getting their certificate of occupancy and will be moving into their facility. Nosler, who does specialty ammunition for hunting, is going to complete their 80,000 square foot manufacturing facility here at the end of July, August. And so these 4 projects represent about 466 jobs and almost $92 million in capital investment in projects that will be done deals this year in Redmond. That's pretty phenomenal. So give them a hand. And I'm probably past my 3 minutes. I'll just wrap up here before Shannon gives me the hook. Redmond is investing in education as well. The high school is investing $10 million in expanding their CTE program through a bond that the residents community passed there a few years ago. COCC is investing $8 million in expanding their manufacturing program. Also received a $2.2 million grant for short-term training certificates and equipment for that new facility, as well as other investments. So workforce is important. I think that's relevant to mention since we're on the campus of OSU-Cascades here. Continuing to invest in education is really important, not just in Redmond, but all over Central Oregon, and we're seeing it happen. I think that's really good news. So that's a Redmond update. If you want to hear anything else, just catch me after.
Amazing, Steve. Thank you. Love to hear that we are investing in education. So good. Okay, we would love to extend a thank you to all of our EDCO members. EDCO membership underwrites a variety of support and resources, including events just like this one, and efforts to build a prosperous and sustainable economy. If you're not a member, we would love to encourage you to join us today. And we're pleased to announce our newest EDCO members: Tandem Diabetes Care, Deep Green Technologies, Celtic Capital Corporation, Metolius Artisan Tea, Weston and Lease PLLC, Revel Pro AV, EC Electric, and Taurus. And I believe our friends from Taurus are here. Are you guys here? Oh, there we are. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. If you want to hear your business called out at a pub talk and learn more about EDCO membership, you're going to visit Larry Holman or any other EDCO team member here tonight. And I just saw Larry. He was right over in the back. So flag him down if you have questions. And again, tonight is just not possible without community partnerships. At BBSI Central Oregon, we stand shoulder to shoulder with local business owners, combining deep regional roots with a robust national framework to elevate your workforce and protect your bottom line. By seamlessly integrating strategic business consulting with HR, payroll, and risk management, we give you the ultimate peace of mind and the freedom to focus entirely on growing your business. InventOR is a statewide student pitch competition that challenges teams to turn ideas into real, investable concepts and develop them through mentorship, validation, and live presentation. Each year, the winning team is invited to present on stage at the Bend Venture Conference, placing student innovation directly in front of investors and the broader startup community. In Central Oregon, EDCO and PubTalk help support that same ecosystem by creating consistent opportunities for founders and innovators at all stages to connect, share ideas, and grow. Tonight's panel brings together InventOR alumni who have experienced this pathway and can reflect on how these pieces work together to build Oregon's entrepreneurial community. And we are absolutely thrilled to have you join us tonight for this exciting evening in partnership with InventOR alumni. And we kindly ask that everyone remain seated through the end of the program so that we can give our speakers the utmost, highest attention possible. And so it's my honor to introduce tonight's moderator, Juan Barraza, Executive Director of Latino Founders. With extensive experience as an entrepreneur and startup leader, Juan is dedicated to helping founders turn ideas into thriving businesses and creating opportunities within their communities. Please help me welcome Juan.
Thank you. How lovely introduction, eh? And the R's. Let's do it again. Those R's get you every time. Good evening. How are you? My name is Juan Barraza, Executive Director of Latino Founders. And over 10 years ago, I got the fortune to get into something. Okay, this is my mark. Sam, you didn't tell me this was my mark. Thank you. I walked into a room in Business Oregon, and unbeknownst to me what was happening, that was Rachel Jagona Brunette from the Lamolson Foundation, Angela Jackson. She was running the Portland State Business Accelerator and the Center for Entrepreneurship. Heather Stafford from Business Oregon, and Scott Slays from the PSU Foundation. And Rachel at that point already asked them, what if PSU has been running the Clean Tech Challenge for quite some time, and Rachel was asking at that time, what if we take that framework and apply it statewide, share with other universities and community colleges, and explore what university inventors and entrepreneurs can do? And the rest just took from there. I remember our first iteration, our goal that was to have 10 universities and community college participating after 3 years. By the second year, we had 20. And what I love about inventors and entrepreneurs at the university level, community college, they are like college athletes. They don't take a no for an answer. Imagine getting a call from Rock Community College one day, and they're asking you, I have this student that's ready to receive 2-cylinder tanks of hydrogen that you said you authorize. And I was like, sure, no problem, let him have it. And then to find out later on, he was using it to power a car inside Oregon Tech with hydrogen to prove they can run with a gas. Or hearing the students that they're looking at new ways to grow foods. And they have a new way to make it happen in urban environments. Or making our food grow faster and longer and last longer in a refrigerator. Or somebody that takes our plastic and make it back, convert it back to oil. So you're gonna hear a lot about what happened with those entrepreneurs now. But I want to acknowledge some folks that got started early on. I had my cheat sheet. I'm getting old and I'm getting forgetful. The PSBA team, the PSU Research and Graduate Studies team, Joe Yenda, Travis Woodland, and the whole crew at RGS. The CE team now, Stacy and Blake, and the rest of the crew. Melissa Freeman. I remember meeting Melissa at the Starbucks Coffee, downtown Portland, when she was working on OCF. Martha Terrence. Where's Martha? My God, she's a cheerleader for everybody. Southern Oregon, you got to connect with Martha. I remember meeting her at Oregon Tech, and she's like, what we do next? InventOR is approved the public-private partnerships works. Lamson Foundation, OCF, and many other foundations provided the funding. Business Oregon came in second, and the private sector did the rest. Every university that said yes at the beginning, any community college that have hosted and sending entrepreneurs to the program, thank you for taking a chance. And EDCO, I remember back in the day when we asked EDCO, can we make time, a space for young university entrepreneurs to present at venture conference? And the answer was yes. And we love your partnership. And I'm excited to see that after many years you're partnering with the program. So thank you. And of course, Oregon State for housing us today. Thank you so much. This building is beautiful. Okay, with that, let me introduce you to our panelists. Skylar Pearson, co-founder of Next Garden. Come on over. Degan Kay, founder of Produce Mate. Ashley Morgan, co-founder of The Reclaimers. Blake Turner, founder of Turner Automotive. And Mark Morrison, called Connect. So welcome. There, Mike. Perfect. So this is a rapid fire. Let's make it a trip down memory lane. I introduce you for how I know you, but let us know how you started and where you are now. And Degan, you want to kick us off?
Sure, Juan. Hello, everybody. My name is Degan. I got started at the University of Portland through the Entrepreneurship Scholar Program, where I first came up with the idea of Produce Mate, which I'll tell you a bit about in a minute. Then I competed in Invent Oregon in 2018. I won Invent Oregon and used that money to scale and launch Produce Mate to market. I'm still working on the same problem that made me fall in love with entrepreneurship in the first place, just in a slightly different form. Super happy to be here. Nice to see everybody.
Thank you. Skylar.
Hi, I'm Skylar Pearson. I started out with the Clean Tech Challenge through PSU and then went into Invent Oregon with my business, or I guess my project at that point, Next Garden. We're developing indoor growing systems for food, and I am still doing it now, just in a little bit of a different shape. I am a farmer now, operating out of Portland.
Thank you.
I'm Ashley Morgan. I was on the Reclaimers. We made a machine that turned plastic back into oil. We decided not to move forward with that as a business, but it did kind of give me the passion for material science. And I went on to get my master's degree in material science, and I'm working at a materials testing lab right now.
I'm Blake Turner. I competed in Invent Oregon representing Road Community College back in 2018. I'm the guy that made Juan let everyone have hydrogen in the building.
Twice.
Twice. Yes, I competed twice, second time for PSU. That really opened my eyes to entrepreneurship, and now I am still working with Invent Oregon, now as the assistant director, helping the next generation of student entrepreneurs.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mark Morrison. I'm the founder of Cold Connect. We develop last mile vaccine delivery carriers for rural and remote communities. And I got my start last year at Invent Oregon. So the whole pipeline. And then was the follow-up what we're doing now?
Well, now, perfect timing. What was your experience since you are the most recent individual with InventOR? What was your experience so far?
What was my
experience with the program?
My experience with the program was basically it takes you from zero to hero almost. You know, you don't know what you're getting into when you start it, but it's a marathon, and everything that happened through the program just made Cold Connect possible, essentially, from the ground up.
Some of you started with like a very ambitious projects, but little experience in the engineering. I'm looking at you, Skylar, because you're an engineer, your background is not in science, and you have a very ambitious project. Could you tell us what was that journey for you?
Oh man, yeah, a lot of learning on the go, figuring out basically how to solve problems in a very short period of time. And I think kind of from that point, that definitely carried with me into what I'm doing now. No education, but I definitely would be like, I'm an engineer now with all the things that I know how to do. You teach yourself how to solve problems as an entrepreneur. The like wearing many hats is definitely true. So yeah, I think Invent Oregon kind of started that off for me, and it just kind of grew from there.
Could you describe your prototype, what it was then,
Yeah.
how you built it, and what is now no longer a prototype?
Sure, yeah. So what we were working on was an indoor hydroponic growing system. It's kind of this like closed container, and we built a prototype that was made out of wood first, and then we built another prototype that was as big as us sitting here. It was like an indoor growing cabinet. And then we got a grant to build like a first full scale prototype, which was meant to be like a micro facility. And then COVID hit, and we kind of pivoted to actually selling. And now I grow out of a 40-foot shipping container and sell at farmers markets. So kind of shift in what I was doing, but now I'm actually doing the growing. Yeah.
The green. Thank you. Ashley, you make magic happen. You make plastic disappear and become oil. You guys fully team engineers, all women. And what was the experience making the project work, and how you make a tough decision after the competition?
I have a video from the first time we actually made oil, and it was coming out in little drips because you have to gasify it and then condense it back down. And there's this video, and you just hear one of my partners, Jess, screaming in the background, just wow, yeah. So that moment, and that was like I think a week before Invent Oregon finals, and so it was really exciting that we made our project work. And then we went on to win. We won the whole thing. We won a couple other awards while we were there, and then we had to make a really tough decision of whether or not we wanted to actually pursue this as a business. And it was difficult. It was a really difficult decision. We had to sit down with ourselves and say, hey, we've only made it work once. We just graduated college with our engineering degrees. I don't think right now is the right time. We passed the project down to another senior project team. And so we thought, maybe if they can make more progress on the technical side of it, then we can come back in a year, start the business then. COVID happened. They didn't even get to finish their project, unfortunately. But yeah, it was a really tough decision because we had a lot of people that wanted to support us and give us money and go forward. But the technology we weren't ready yet.
Could you share your experience? You applied for a company in Portland, and you submitted your application, explain everything about you working on it, and then you emailed them after you guys won. What happened after that?
I got a job. I emailed them that we won, and then they offered me a job. And I worked as a design engineer for Leupold and Stevens for a couple of years before I went on to do my master's degree and then work in the materials testing lab. So doing Invent Oregon actually got me a job. Yeah.
All right, excellent. Dagan, you are pretty close aligned with what Skylar is doing. She's growing food. You're trying to preserve our food for going bad. Could you tell us more about Produce Made, and what was the journey with Produce Made until now?
Yeah, totally. Food waste is a massive problem. I'm sure some of you know, but just to give you the stats, 40% of all the food we grow and produce and raise is never eaten, and most of it ends up in a landfill. So that was sort of my true north, the problem that I fell in love with. So Produce Mate for me at the beginning was a hunch, a lot of prototyping that the hypothesis initially was, hey, I think a lot of this fresh produce is going bad just because people are not getting around to eating it at home. So I started doing a lot of research about why produce goes bad and the mechanisms behind that. And so it turns out a lot of the surface spoilage that leads to fresh fruits and veggies ending up in the landfill is pretty avoidable if you can fight the bacteria that leads to that surface moldage. So Produce Mate is a antimicrobial kitchen mat. You store fruits and vegetables on top of it in the fridge or in a fruit bowl. The mat fights the bacteria that would lead to premature spoilage, and you get longer lasting fruits and veg.
Mark, so you're pretty fresh out of the competition. What have you learned so far that you're applying and you're looking back a year ago and you're like, I could have done things differently?
I think the motto of the last year is hardware is hard. So it's just, yeah, there's a lot of things that you learn along the way. And also it's just, realizing how important it is coming out of Invent Oregon and going from the competition environment to starting a business is all the business formation skills you need and all the little, T's and I's you need to dot. And it's a whole field. That's why people major in college. But I would say a year ago to just really, really savor the simple times, maybe, because it gets harder, but it's also, it gets more rewarding as well. So, yeah.
Blake, you take no for an answer. I have a picture you lifting the Corvair into the hallway of Oregon Tech. You were certain you were winning that year and didn't work out as planned. Tell us more.
So I got to talk to Dagan. So my first Invent Oregon, I brought the car in and I'm walking down to the registration desk. And of course, I brought a car into a building, so everybody's talking about it. And I definitely got it in my head, like, I got this thing in the bag. Like, I made a car run on hydrogen. I got this. Like, I'm going home with something. And so then when I find out a produce mat won, I was a little like hurt. I was like, I made a car run on hydrogen and I lost to a silicone mat. And so this is a story I tell all the time. And so Dagan, you're very much part of my backstory there. And so, of course, in the moment, I was like crushed, right? Because I just put a lot of work and I'm like, this is an invention competition, da, 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 da. And what I always tell people, and I'm glad I competed twice because I had the fortune, I transferred to Portland State. I ended up working with Dagan really closely as we were in the initial incubator, the Cube at the PSBA. And I got to know more about like the business side of things, and I understood why his project won. It's not that Invent Oregon is like, it's just an invention competition. It's an everything competition. It's branding, it's business, and those skills go beyond Invent Oregon. Like when you're applying as an engineer, the reason they're like, oh, you want Invent Oregon? We want to hire you, is because it shows you're more than just an engineer. And so I took those lessons to heart, humbled myself a little bit. And then the next year I went in with, instead of having a team of engineers, I had a marketing person and a business person. We rounded out our project and we took home second place. And so that is kind of like an entire like self-contained story of what this program is all about, and a big part of what kind of made me into the person I am, of like entrepreneurship is doing everything. And that's what I get to do every day in my job. And that's what I've discovered my passion is not just designing one thing, but everything around it.
If we look back and say with me, what you learned from the program and what is the most impactful thing you walk away that if you were to talk yourself from when you started the competition many years ago, what will you say that was the most important thing, and what you learned that you will not repeat at that time that will accelerate your success?
Yeah, I have a very clear answer to this because for me, one of the core tenets of Invent Oregon was the idea that you should fall in love with a problem. And that's a complicated concept. What it means to me really is that a great business is addressing a really specific pain point, and a problem is a pain point. So I really I took that to heart, and I use that framework in everything I do today. It's really important to understand how people are impacted by the thing that you're trying to sell them, if that makes sense.
I think the biggest thing that kind of like I've taken away or I've learned is along with what Blake was saying, which is really that like it's about the whole picture. It's not just about the invention. It's about um, kind of putting all of the puzzle pieces together and seeing like the global view of what it is that you're doing. And I think Invent Oregon did a really good job of kind of making my brain function in that way, looking at things through that lens. Um, and I think, yeah, kind of looking back, if I could tell myself something, it would just be to like hold space for that. It's complex and there's a lot of moving pieces to a business, and an invention is awesome and cool, but running and operating a business is so many more things than that. Um, yeah, and to just kind of like take that all as it comes.
Since I didn't move forward with the business, I think I took more from personal growth. I think it taught me a lot of having confidence in yourself, selling yourself, how to make an impact in 3 minutes. Also, even less than 3 minutes, we had a little gimmick. We would light our oil on fire during our pitch. Also, sometimes it's okay to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. That might not be the best advice, but we didn't ask first. We just did it. Um, so yeah, be confident, go for it, make an impression as quickly as you can. I also learned a lot about networking and how important networking is through Invent Oregon, because I still, Blake's a contact of mine, Juan. We're all connected on LinkedIn. It's really important because maybe in a year I'm looking for a job and one of you has an opening for me. So I really learned the importance of networking and just self-confidence.
You don't realize how dangerous Ashley is at this moment. She's an engineer. She knows how to build things very complex, and she understands the value of how to align and present her ideas in an audience that might not understand all the engineering piece, but she knows how to grab your attention. So if anyone writes a check for Ashley for her next venture, take note. Blake.
So a big one for me, like Juan said, don't take no for an answer. But the flip side of that is always say yes. Before I did Invent Oregon, I was just an engineering student. My goal was to get my degree, get a job, call it a day. And then I said yes to Invent Oregon. And then when Juan offered me a desk, even though I lost, I said yes to that. And I haven't left since. And so I've been taking on more responsibility, taking on more opportunities, and just people will offer you so many things. And if you just say yes and figure out how you're going to do it later, then that is an amazing part of entrepreneurship. And it was really like giving me experiences that I'll remember for the rest of my life. Like I'll remember when Juan offered to take me to Washington, D.C. Be like, hey, we want you to represent Invent Oregon. And my question was, why? Like, why me? And so getting out of that and just saying like, yeah, I'll go to Washington, D.C. Let's do this. First time on an airplane. Let's go. And those are the experiences that change your life, because otherwise it's something you might not have done.
I think for myself, it's the realization that an idea is not the end all be all. Like an idea and a cool trinket, you really need the whole vision, the whole package. When I first got to Invent Oregon, it was like, I don't want to do any of this other customer discovery stuff. I just want to build, man, And I call it like my Mr. Miyagi lessons, mostly from Stacy, is because it's like why am I doing this, And then it all clicked later. So I'm really appreciative of that, and so even if something doesn't make a ton of sense, just keep on going. It'll probably click.
So let's see, Stacy, wax on, wax off. Thank you. With this, a perfect segue. So it's a perfect segue. And when we created InventOR, when we talked to Rachel, that was about mentorship. Seeing is believing. Being able to connect to individuals, to those with experience, and then you get the permission to do better things, crazier things. Is any mentor or judge during the competition that you can point back and say, having talked to this person, sent me in a different direction. I totally wasn't expecting it.
I feel like I feel like part of my experience was twofold. It was like there were the people who told us to go in a certain direction, and my gut was like, no, it's this. And I feel like that taught me a really good lesson of listening to my gut because there were a lot of things that were sound and kind of over time proved to be true. Um, but at the same time, then you have mentors like Juan, and anything that he tells you to do, you should absolutely do. Uh, and that's been the most valuable piece for me is you.
So I find that like a lot of advice is just a mix of optimism and nostalgia. And everyone's got advice. Everyone's got advice. But my kind of my joke out of the whole thing is that when you have an advisor, you should take their advice because otherwise they wouldn't be your advisor. So it's not like don't take advice or choose your advice. It's more like choose your advisors very carefully and then listen to what they have to say.
Anybody else?
You were always really excited, and so that made us excited.
Still true today.
It's Juan.
Yeah. I mean, I'll double down on that. There's so many adventures that I've gone on with Juan, just of like, hey, hey Blake, hey, do you know how to use a laser cutter? I did once. We're going to Bend. You're going to read the manual and teach people how to use it. And it was great. So there's just a lot of adventures of, whether it's Juan or anybody else, just let them take you for a ride and see where you end up.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'll give you 20. The promise to everybody. You hear a lot about the economy right now is in everybody's mind, right? Everybody, statewide, citywide, we're talking about how we reignite our economy. As a new study that was alluded earlier about the Prosperity Council, with a lot of advice, you were to share what makes the difference, will make the difference for you now or in the future, what would you ask us to focus on?
I'll go ahead and say a little thing. Of course, entrepreneurship, I think, is the future of a lot of businesses, of people doing their own thing. I see a lot of focus and a lot of resources aimed at like finding the next unicorn, right? What's the next Apple? What's the next SpaceX? And I think really the future of businesses and entrepreneurship are lifestyle businesses. What I like about our student entrepreneurs is they come with things they care about. And that's what we all did. All of us started with a project that we cared about and that we wanted to do. And so when someone comes in and is like, what's your exit strategy? How are you going to do this and that? We're like, oh, no, we just want to like have a business and have a life. And I think that is really how you build a robust economy, is rather than a bunch of businesses that people are going to sell and go through a bunch of hands all to make money for their shareholder. Instead, people who are passionate about their problem are willing to work for not as much money as they would make in the private sector, but doing their own startup and doing their own thing is how we're going to build like a robust baseline of the economy of the future, in my opinion.
Something I always like to say about kind of coming into the entrepreneurial community is that it's a real like rising tide lifts all boats kind of place. Everyone in the entrepreneurial community instinctively knows that true wealth is built. It's not taken or given. So everyone's always willing to help build. And so it's just that spirit of being able to build something new, and it's not a triage where you're taking from something. So, and I think that, like I said, with like that's the future, is just more building, more doing.
I think something that I think Oregon is good at, but also is kind of a place that can always grow and improve, is this kind of intersection between what it means to be like an entrepreneur and like a startup sense, and you've got really big vision, and then what it means to just start a small business. Like my path kind of took me through, like hardware development, software development, and fundraising, and then kind of shifting into I'm trying to operate a regular old small business, and the resources for those two things are really different. And I think that I think Oregon does a really good job of kind of bridging that gap and offering kind of both sides of that. And kind of always can continue to grow because those two areas can always help each other grow as well.
Okay, perfect. Again, it's like, that's what I wanted to say. We have a lot of support organizations in the room, EDCO, OEN, Latino Founders, others. What advice you give us to connect with young entrepreneurs coming out of university that we have an idea but not a lot of experience? What kind of programs or support would you like to see? Because you were there at some point and now you have gained some experience, but maybe could you use a little bit more help at the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I notice a lot is when you're a student entrepreneur and you're coming up into things, sometimes you don't feel like you belong. And that's a common thing that people say, like, oh, yeah, we build belonging. But like, what that means is these people, and especially, in my case, I'm sure a lot of others, you come in with like not really wanting to put yourself out there, not really wanting to impede, and not feeling like you fully belong in this space. And so, anybody who wants to help young entrepreneurs, people doing this for the first time, it takes a little work to get these people out of their shells. Like, I'm a mentor now. I work with students, and there are definitely some times where I'm like, all right, let's get going. Let's get those ideas flowing. You're a genius. Let's go. And so like these, coming out into this, there are some folks that are like total extroverts and they are ready to run into a room and own it. And other people will hide in the corner. And so it's about taking those people that see themselves hiding in the corner and showing them that they can really go out there. They deserve to network. They deserve to be in the room, and helping them achieve that.
I have to second that. Like, definitely. It makes me think of Hugh, the partner that I worked with on my project, who definitely didn't come out of his shell until like about 3 years ago. And we went through Invent Oregon 10 years ago. But yeah, I feel like if there was like Toastmasters for students, do you guys know what that is? Just like getting out there and feeling confident, learning how to connect with people. I definitely also felt the like sort of imposter syndrome, like in a room full of wealthy and intelligent advisors. And I was like, I don't belong here. I feel like a child. And it took a long time to feel confident in that space, even though like I was quite extroverted. I feel like, yeah, anything that can kind of bring together um, more practice for that, just kind of practice makes perfect of getting people comfortable with how to sit up in front of a crowd and talk into a microphone.
The Klamath Small Business Development Center helped us out a lot. They came and gave presentations, but we were also competitors. I don't know if that is open to everybody or not, but I would say the same thing. I think we did 24 presentations my senior year, and by the 24th, we're owning it. That's our presentation. We know exactly what we're talking about. Also, our first pitch, I think, was 10 minutes. We got it down to 3. So getting that short pitch earlier in the process, um, yeah, and just knowing where to find the resources.
The other thing that I would add is we live in such an interesting time in terms of new tools. I think in a lot of ways it's easier now than ever to get some minimum viable product or to start a business. So I think like students have their finger on the pulse already with what's out there and what's going on. One way that the broader entrepreneurial community could help is making sure that those tools are accessible, are easy to pick up. And then nobody mentioned this, but money helps for sure. Invent Oregon's initial grant is how I bought the mold to make Produce Mate in the first place. You need some form of capital to make these inventions happen. And so, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Thanks to the sponsors.
Yeah, thank you to the sponsors.
Thanks to the sponsors, right? Absolutely. Tomorrow is InventOR 10 year, and there's a lot of participants in the room. What advice you will give to them the night before InventOR?
You're probably nervous and excited, and you've been prepping for this for ages. If I could say anything, I would say I would encourage you to celebrate the effort and not focus on the outcome so much. You have an amazing group of people around you, and you've built a network just by a fact of having gone through Invent Oregon. no matter the outcome tomorrow, although I wish you the best of luck, I urge you to feel proud and to take that confidence forward in whatever you do next. And hopefully that's continuing to run your business.
I think the biggest advice that I kind of would offer to the students is you kind of remembering that whether for the business or for just the rest of your life, like this is still very much the beginning. This is the starting line, not the finish line. And also, like, get out there and just talk to people. Make friends with the judges, with the mentors, with your competitors, you know, your sworn enemies. Just talk to people, because that's definitely the value of being here, is making those connections, and those will stay with you for a very long time. I would not be surprised if Dagan hit me up and was like, "Hey, I've got a job for you," like in 10 years. That would not be absurd. And we don't like keep in contact, you know, but the connections that you make while you're here are so important. So get out there, make friends, talk to people. It takes a little bit of like the pressure off of your pitch also. You know, it's a big day full of a lot of opportunities. You just won't really know what they are until you know, like hindsight's 2020. So enjoy the day.
The day does go by really fast. Even though it's a long day, it goes by really fast. So just try to enjoy it where you can. If you're able to walk around and see the other teams' booths or pitches, I would recommend that. Also, just taking pictures with your group. You know, at the end of the day, everyone's so rushed packing up that you kind of lose the excitement at the end there. Um, and the whole point is we want to start a business. You want to bring this to business, but at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself. And if that's not within your bandwidth, it's okay if you don't move forward with that, because I am still doing great. And I might loop back around to that project. I've got a whole note in my phone of invention ideas. Like it wasn't the end for me.
And I definitely want to second kind of what they've said, is that what you remember and what you take away from this is not whether you won first, second, or visionary. It's about the people you meet along the way, the experiences you gain, and the opportunities that you'll be offered that you don't know are going to have an impact yet. Like when I look back at my first event, Oregon, it was Juan offering me a space at the PSBA was the biggest opportunity. And at the time, I was like, okay, cool. Like, sure, buddy, I'll take you up on that. I did change my life, but at the moment, it just seemed like another opportunity that I was just bummed that I had to get my car out of the building. And so it's these little things of the people you meet, like, you know, we don't connect with each other. Ashley and I connected after that first Invent Oregon. I haven't talked to her until like to invite her to this, but she came. Like, it's those connections that really do last a long time, both with the professionals and the cohort. Like, you're all going through this together, and whether, you know, you keep in touch, become best friends, or, you know, years down the line, you end up reconnecting. Like, that's what you're going to carry with you.
I would like to add, you were actually going to give me a tour of PSU, because I was thinking about going to PSU for my master's, and then I think COVID happened. But networking really does, you know, play into it.
Yeah,
So close.
and to third everything everyone was saying, yeah, write it all down. Everyone you meet, how you know them, what they're involved in. Everyone that you will meet, you have met in the process, your mentors, and everyone you're going to meet tomorrow, all the judges, they're going to become your biggest advocates and sponsors as you make your way through the entrepreneurial system. And just know that everybody here today and tomorrow, they're here because they support early stage entrepreneurship and they want to see you succeed. So let's keep that in mind.
When InventOR got started, we thought we were going to have, right off the bat, a lot of entrepreneurs creating businesses. Some of them did. Some of them went to the careers. And the benchmark now, 10 years, allows us to look back. And lessons learned from that is we got to give time for entrepreneurs and innovators to mature and get to the space where they can create something. Many of the alumni from Entrepreneurship, they're working in big companies, working in rocket science, building new concepts. And the reality is we've been told the innovation comes from the isolated genius, but it comes from connected communities. So for all our university staff that support this program today, stand up. Everybody from university, community college, stand up. Thank you. Thank you, because it takes a lot of work to get the student that wants to fly to the moon and you don't want to clip their wings. You say, sure, let's do it. But also it's about intentionality. I'm going to remind you of the three other people in the room that afternoon at Business Oregon. Rachel Jagoda Brunette, Angela Jackson, Scott Schlaze, Heather Stafford. They were very intentional about what we're doing. And Rachel, where are you hiding? Come on over. Come on over. It was because Rachel got the idea and dared to say, what if? So thank you for being intentional.
Thank you. I'll speak.
You speak to them? Okay. With that, stay here. We're going to take a picture. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Dagan, Skylar, Ashley, Blake, Mark, thank you for being who you are and continue innovating and being entrepreneurial. Thank you. Can we take a quick picture?
Please do. Wait, please, how about another round of applause for these incredible people? My goodness. Innovation comes from connected communities, Juan. That is so beautifully stated. And let's get a photo of these people, just not with me. I didn't invent anything. I will say, Ashley, I also have a note in my phone for all of my various inventions, but my inventions are more suited to comedy shorts than actual products, and we'll just leave it at that.
I do have meatball bingo on.
Okay, we are on the same page. Yeah, you're gonna love my ideas. We gotta talk.
To myself, but meatball bingo's on the
Meatball bingo. I'm into it. Thanks again. Okay, one more round of applause for these incredible people. Wow, so much wisdom shared. This is just absolutely incredible. Okay, so we've got a little more for you. Tonight's pitches are brought to you by these amazing partners. Summit Bank is thrilled to sponsor PubTalk. We are your local business bank, Oregon's fastest growing bank, the bank with beer. And now, after 21 years, we are the second largest bank based in Oregon. We are Summit Bank, Oregon's business bank. And looking to grow your business or strengthen your team, COCC's Center for Business and Small Business Development Center offers no-cost advising, practical workshops, and workforce training to help small business owners and organizations across Central Oregon thrive. Visit cocc.edu/Center for Business to learn more. Next up is a student pitch from Brooke Hamilton. Brooke is a senior at Oregon State University studying computer science. Inspired by Oregon's wildfire challenges, Brooke combined his passion for technology and the outdoors to create FireSense, an innovative wildfire detection solution. Please join me in welcoming Brooke to the stage.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Yes, I am Brooke Hamilton. I am going into my senior year at Oregon State University studying computer science here at Cascades. And I'm also the inventor of FireSense. So most people think that wildfires start when they are detected, when in reality they can take hours to get to the stage where they're detected using cameras and satellites typically. This time is a very critical area for early wildfire detection to get faster response. Many of you may remember the 2018 Camp Fire, which became the deadliest fire in California state history. This fire was actually caused by a faulty component on electrical transmission lines. Power companies all over the United States are responsible for managing hundreds of thousands of miles of lines, just like the one in California that failed, that span across a multitude of different terrains, where a single ignition can lead to disaster for surrounding communities, the environment, and cost millions, if not billions, in damage and repair. My solution to this problem is an early wildfire detection sensor, which senses airborne particulate and combustion gases It can also pick up on environmental indicators as well to give a better insight on how fire conditions are looking in a specific area. By deploying these kinds of sensors directly onto electrical power lines, you're able to accurately identify where a fire is starting, whether it's starting from the infrastructure itself or approaching from the outside and encroaching on the infrastructure. This kind of detection can save hours in response time, not only for first responders to mitigate the damage of these detrimental fires, but also for power companies to manage grid shutdown as well. So utilities are responsible for managing these hundreds of thousands of miles across not only the United States, but abroad as well. And they need a better tool to monitor this landscape. My plan is to give an affordable and deployable way to detect the fires. I am still in prototyping phase, but InventOR has given me the amazing opportunity to try to turn that idea into a real solution that can help protect not only communities, but the environment as well. So right now, I'm just looking for a knowledgeable group of mentors and advisors to help me get there, as well as even a small team. So if you guys are interested, looking for students or anybody who likes software development, helping environment, everything like that. So thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Well done. This is so cool. So is this your first idea that you've ever had? I mean,
Yeah. Yes.
are you new to the planet? I mean, apparently I am, so that's great. But you know what I mean? Is this the first thing that you pursued, like trying to make it into a company?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where did the idea come from?
So originally I was just trying to make a air quality monitor for my porch because we were approaching fire season and I kind of wanted to see how bad it got. And then I went to the regional InventOR pitch competition at COCC tryout thing, where I kind of developed that idea further. And here I am.
Yeah. Here you are. So how did it go? How did your pitch go?
I mean, it went pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
Made a good impression. I wasn't that prepared. I went in kind of still developing that idea, and now I'm much more prepared and have a better, thought out idea.
Oh, it's so cool. Okay. Anybody have questions for Brooke? Yes, right here in the back, Rita. Are you going to try again next year, Brooke?
I think I'm going to try again next year. Yeah.
And then you also had a question. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm curious, like, what you're working on with it right now. Like, where are you at in the process?
So right now I have a solid prototype. It's super ugly. It's pretty much just like a breadboard with a bunch of wires coming off of it and sensors attached. And I have 2 of them. And so they talk to each other.
Wow.
And they also communicate over Wi-Fi to my computer, and I can read the results. And
oh, this is so cool. Juan.
You have a room full of experts.
Mm-hmm.
Eager to help. What are the 3 things that you need the most right now?
Oh, I love this question. Okay, so you have a room full of experts who are eager to help. What are the top 3 things that you need?
Top 3 things, I would say. So I'm very new to the whole entrepreneurship business world. So definitely guidance and just networking and how to move from an idea into an actual product that I can move forwards. Also, the software, hardware, web end, whole thing. There's a lot of components in it. I'm still a student. I'm not an expert in all of those things. I know that's technically only one thing, but there's like 50 things sprinkled in there. So help with all of that would help be great.
And then, okay, so we're going to say that the second one counts for all the rest of them, or is there anything else that you need?
I think that's kind of it. Yeah, money. $1 billion.
$1 billion. Any takers? Any other questions? Yes, in the back. Oh, it's a good question. Have you had like an informational interview with Pacific Power or any equivalent agencies?
I have not yet. I was waiting for my prototype to get a little further and the idea a little more fledged out as far as deployment and everything goes before I.
Oh, she just texted them.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So that's the lady to talk to. I was going to say, I actually want to see you walk into Pacific Power with 2 breadboards of wires hanging out. Like, I got it. I would love to see that. I mean,
do that.
That's a comedy short right there, but then it could end up being a whole thing. So
yeah, I'll do that.
Any other questions for Brooke in the back? Oh, this is a fun question. What kind of individuals are you looking to have join your team?
Right now, mostly software developers, web developers, and I could use a hardware developer as well. There's just a lot new to me that I'm not quite familiar with. I suck at soldering. That's been a big setback. So, yeah.
Talk to Ashley. She could help you. So, like big picture, what do you want to see happen with this thing?
I would like to see it deployed, on a power infrastructure throughout the United States. There's a lot of remote areas where it's very hard to monitor, especially with cameras. Satellites do a better job, but they still require human observation. So something a little more autonomous would help a lot with detection.
Yeah, and it seems like this could save a lot of money, and I feel like that's where you're going to get people's attention.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, any other questions for Brooke? Yes. How does the sensor module work exactly, and how does it sense like that the fire has started?
Yeah, so I have 3 different types of sensors. I won't get into the whole nitty gritty of all of them, but basically they pick up on air particulate, so like stuff released in smoke, as well as gases like volatile organic compounds that are released as well. And using those 2 main components, you're able to pretty accurately identify the mostly smoke from the fires. So it does depend a lot on wind direction as well. So planning more the placement of the actual sensors is a big problem I'm working on right now. But yeah, basically just detecting those.
Is there anyone else working on anything similar to this that you know of?
There is a company called Dryad. They work on a similar kind of sensor module. It's not targeted specifically to power companies, but it's a similar technology. The DHS is also developing a similar thing. Is still in prototyping phase, and it's also humongous and seems really expensive. I don't.
That tracks.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the best.
Yeah. You get to smoke these guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I'm really bringing it heat tonight. There's another one. Yes, right here, Christine. Oh, this is so fun. Have you connected with Oregon, the Center for Innovation Energy Center? Is that what it's called? Yeah. Energy Innovation Center.
I have not.
Okay, can you text them, Christine, if you could?
Yeah.
Perfect. And then we have one right here.
What do you want to happen once you discover a fire?
What do you want? Say it again.
What do you want to happen?
What do you want to happen as soon as you discover the fire?
Yeah, so I am hoping for it to be like a signal to be sent to first responders as well as power companies as well. A big problem with fires encroaching on electrical infrastructure is de-energizing the grid. It's very interconnected, and so when a fire is just sprung onto a certain, line, it's very hard to manage grid shutdowns in order to not shut power off to, hospitals, essential infrastructure and communities as well. So giving just more time back to them to be able to safely manage the fire situation would be huge.
And then do you think that this is going to be able to identify like where things are malfunctioning before it becomes a problem? Is that also part of this vision?
Yeah, depending on what kind of malfunction it is, that's definitely possible. There are certain technologies that power companies are using right now to kind of detect like electrical malfunctions. The campfire, for example, happened because some hook was not mounted correctly, and it got really hot and kind of just slumped to the ground where it sparked a bunch of flames. So that kind of thing would be very detectable.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think we have time for one more question for Brooke. Anybody else? Okay. What is next for you?
Next, I've been talking to the Oregon Wildfire Innovation Lab, which is getting up and running in a few months, I think 4 or 5 months. And so I'm going to be deploying it on some HOAs to get a wider scale testing done. And until then, I'm just going to be making a bunch of prototypes.
This is so cool, Brooke. Yeah, really cool. And you talk about it in a really, I think, way that makes it easy for us to understand what it is that you're doing. Because I know you are very smart, Brooke. I can just tell this is wild business. So very well done and great pitch. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you got it. Wow. How about another round of applause for all of our panelists? Juan, Ashley, Dagan, Brooke, Blake, Mark. I mean, you guys are incredible. Skylar, what the heck? You guys are so smart. So much wisdom shared here tonight. Just really such a pleasure. What an incredible evening. Okay, so mark your calendars. We've got some events coming up in July. If you're an EDCO member, we have our EDCO annual meeting and celebration on July 8th. The Maiden Sisters Tour will take place on July 16th, and you don't want to miss EDCO's Healthcare Foundation, Building Healthy Communities for a Stronger Economy. This is an event that will be at Kiln on July 22nd. Tickets are available now. And our next Pub Talk will be at Worthy Brewing Company, so mark your calendar for September 24th. That will be Pub Talk, The Road to BBC. It is extremely exciting. Would love to see you all there. And don't forget, the 2026 Invent Oregon Finals are happening tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. right here at OSU-Cascades. We will celebrate a decade of student innovation as 20 collegiate teams from across Oregon pitch their inventions, showcase working prototypes, and compete for cash prizes and the opportunity to present at the Bend Venture Conference in October. This event is free and open to the public, but we encourage you to register ahead of time through Eventbrite. More innovation or more information and on all of these events can be found at edcoinfo.com/events. Special thanks again to OSU-Cascades and Hand in Hand Productions for making it happen. Is this not an incredible setup for us? I love being here. Also, again, don't forget, tomorrow it is free. It is the 10th annual 2026 Invent Oregon Finals, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can sign up on eventbrite.com. We would love to see you there. Make some good connections, support these amazing inventors, and let's keep doing the thing. Thanks so much, you guys. Have a great summer.